Welcome, welcome to my lovely IHP community and the 5D Collective. If you are new, our collective are self agents, and we do love to love and live and laugh and learn, and we do not cast stones. Some will call us perfectionists, but we're not. We are simply put those who have a whole self, and therefore we own our embodied brain. And so we can be mystic, spiritual, mindfully living, loving people. Some might not even use the words, but the thing is, we bring and want emotional vulnerability and no, not drama. So as a teenager, I already didn't do drama, which is why that fancy lady in her suit, when I hear her say, it's dangerous to have no emotions, flashback, teenage Maria with all these people saying, you're so emotionless. I'm like, no, I'm just not dramatic. But so, long story short, as I settle into more and more data from smart human beings, I know how to come with those of you who are here. We at HPI, I'm a self-empowered, enlightening woman, and so I don't in any way, shape, or form engage without my prefrontal cortex. Even as a teenager, I still knew how to do this thing called, okay, we're going to work with the anger, we're going to work with the sadness, we're going to work with the fear, we're going to work with the disgust, surprise, and happiness. And yes, it's work, but it's not hard work, because emotional vulnerability and emotional awareness and resiliency is welcome to those of us who have a good relationship. We're self-led. We talked about this. We do not suffer. Suffering is not a part of an enlightening, empowering human being, even without the mystic part journey when it comes to my love life. Love Shack is a little old place where we can get together. Yeah, Love Shack. But yeah, so my point is, though, that if you are a conscious lover, you don't actually just randomly get into anything. It's called Maria, say I do to you because I'm a conscious lover who appreciates love. Okay, so we also know that nothing lasts forever. No, till death do part, sickness and in health, for better, for worse. So when you move into polyamory and people think you don't love people, but that you fuck all people, you say, no, I don't fuck all people. That's actually not on the table at all if I'm not interested, and that's not anywhere near what polyamory is. But hey, let me have a good time making fun of this shit. No, I have a good time with people who ask questions, because I'm not a person who's sensitive. Again, empowered, enlightening women and men, and they don't take offense when we meet others. And when they're charged, we know what's going on. Some people are hooked on drama, and they're hooked on chaos. And that's why Nietzsche wrote his book the way he did. Yeah, I don't know if he was hooked on it, but here's where Nietzsche's quote, you must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star. What he doesn't know is that our embodied brain does. There's a whole way Dr. Daniel Siegel, he's really smart. You know, he talks about we go from chaos to, I forget how he explains it, but basically, FYI, smart neuroscientists will also tell you it's not supernatural to be in the flow state. And what I can tell you is there's a big portion of people who don't know how to do it, and that's because they follow human beings who give them stories. And those are all Pinocchios and Peter Pans, and I make fun of them because I notice when you got insecurity, because it's very small energy, with suspicious minds, ah, ha, ha, ha. Unfortunately, the poor unfortunate souls, so sad but true, they go to Ursula's cauldron. Some of them become Ursula, and I have spotted them for years and years and years. Again, as a teenager, my BFFF of all times, as she tells me, I thought you were a snob before meeting you. I was like, no, I'm just confident. Now I know that. And then you grow up, and luckily grown-ups don't actually have to do, let's get to know each other, let's get together, yeah. We can have, because you have consistently over time stabilized your entire oversoul. I got a bunch of people. My light body and my oversoul, it expands. I don't cut people out. That would be ridiculous. My brothers and sisters, the ones who are of fear are my brothers and sisters. They're not Lucifer. Nope. I mean, really, I told God I was 19. I don't see him. I see cowards. I see people who lie and people who hide, and it's too brute. I'm not living in an action movie. And even if I were, I'd be a superhero, because I'd be actually really badass compared to all the ones who don't understand what badass is. And that is walk like an Egyptian. So love is inclusive. Love is I see you. Love is I hear you. Love is I will share with you. Love is the time that we share together, and love is unconditional, but it is one that requires, no, it is one that will hold consistent, contingent communication with you stress. I'm a self-agent, you're a self-agent, I'm differentiated, you're differentiated. We consistently, with our amygdala, are alerted to wanting one another. It's not hard. Nobody's performing. It's not a circus act. That's why self-agents, those who take self-respect seriously, listen to our late HP show, they ain't messing around. They ain't gonna fuck with their time. They ain't gonna fuck with another person's time. We got 24 hours. It's not hard. As I told a teenage boyfriend, by the third year, it's not hard. Decide. This is getting childish. What's going on? No, I had just said, this is getting childish. And it was my first serious relationship. And then you find out how people don't know what they want and think people will change. And when you are, 27 at the time, 25, and I'm knowing that someone after 4 years tells me, and again, I love these people to death, but I'm like, I told you I don't change. I'm not Greece. I didn't use that example, but that's the point. So when you're consistently self-led, you don't change. You don't change your mind. You don't move it up and down and every go round. And guess what? People who have attachment wounds, who don't go to Patrick Tian or Terriel, and that's why with YouTube, I mean, the cauldron is bountiful. So someone that likes storytelling won't be here. Somebody who likes an entertainer and an educator, and somebody who knows how to be authentic and say, I'm pseudoscience because I know where the actual data is. And the data actually consistently proves that those who don't want to do the emotional lifting, they will like to think, I went through chaos to become a star. And I have fun making fun of them. So you will consistently, if, as Patrick McNamara, a neuroscientist, explains, do decentralizing of the self well, expand. And you will not, therefore, spread rumors about yoga bringing demons out of you. Or flip a switch and go from being one of the most adored like a lot leader in our mystic community to somebody who is completely talking about everything that is a part of our community as evil, Knievel, medieval from hell. And then you find those who blame, they find shadows to blame, and they find men to blame or women to blame, and the partner, they blame other people versus, again, the person had a very not good decentralizing of the self experience. They were nightmare after nightmare after nightmare. They did not go get their fear receptor, which was going wonky, to take a look at. And they also took their dreams so seriously to actually use ancient textbooks and those fear mongering messages to say, and there you go. So it's a decentralizing of the self that goes not wrong, because really, is it wrong? We got a bunch of 3D, 4D brothers and sisters who talk about mystics such as myself as evil, Knievel, medieval, and they even use the word Luciferian era. We even have mindfulness practitioners who use this word. Anytime you hear somebody using a word to create a group, you must realize they're playing to a crowd. I don't play to a crowd because the masses are the crowd that went to watch a shitty series and went off of Facebook to go back on, and then they continue, moving with the times, but they like their story. So cynical people, escapists, and perfectionists, those are not inner growth mindset types. I just watched a video of a beautiful lady who talks about the experimental mindset. So we don't only do that because we understand the scientific method, but I'm an artist at heart. That's why I'm the woo pseudoscience lady, because I don't want only science. I don't live it. So you can't hear stories that are only data. Again, that's completely ridiculous. They're going to look into empirical mysticism at one point. That'll be fun to know. So when I think of Nietzsche, I think of teenagers, because only a teenager needs to make a big deal. And excuse me, not this one. I am Miss Perfect. I'm just imperfectly perfect for myself. Which is why anybody who tells me you should change, no, again, this is not Greece. I don't actually fall for bullshit. That's not love. And I don't get dramatic about it, because all that you did was not rejection protection. It's called, we're different. You don't like me. I'm not your home. I'm not chaos in a way of treating you like a little piece of shit and bringing drama to you. So what I can let you all know, fun fact, empowered feminine here, there ain't no masculine or dysregulated feminine for that. They're one and in the same that can fuck with us, because you can't fuck with me. It's a figure of speech. It ain't how hard you get hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. And I'll tell it to you with the ventral vagal state, because I love Rocky, man. I love all of it. But life, I said, don't hit you. You're a miracle. Oh my gosh, you are disrespecting God right now, and you're disrespecting Source. And when people want to embody that which is divinity, but they don't even know how to, you'll notice it, because they actually are not strong. They're weak. Their energy is weak because they're not navigating their inner world with the ventral vagal state. They're only using words that imprison them. And when they're imprisoned by their words, because they don't have their 0-1-year-old, excuse me, I should specify that, all of your implicit memory. Okay, so let me explain to you. I own Maria. I'm giving you an example based on data that I know and my own lovely experience. So teenage boyfriend, simply put, by the fourth time, he didn't even admit it. That's not surprising. Cowards don't know how to speak in your face. They also don't know how to take accountability. They don't have self-respect. They let alone have self-love. And I don't need to be anybody's therapist, because I'm not. I'm a mentor, content creator, podcast host. And as a teen, I was not going to be thinking, I'll never love again. No, that's when I said, the grown-ups were liars. I did love the way I said I'd love, and I still do. It's a consistency. And when I met the lovely book, The Art of Loving, of Eric Fromm, I said, finally, a human being who figured it out. I feel love like a verb. And so when people don't feel love like a verb, that's their thing, not our thing. Self, who are agents, again, we are whole self, so our love is a verb. So we're magical beings expanding consciousness with love, not the fear stuff, but we still have fear, and we do have pain, but we do not have suffering, because we don't use the temporal junction. We use a prefrontal cortex. So I don't seek chaos in my relationships. I seek certainty, like any other securely attached, let me use the words, non-traumatized human being who navigates their health, ventral vagal state, and has common sense. I'm a teenager. I'm flirting with this dude. I really liked him. I had a crush on him. I got really excited for some shoes I wore. I got to this. He sees me. He was always teasing me about me being short, him being tall, and us not being able to be an item, because that's how shallow some people are. I do not find shallow aesthetically pleasing. I like to get prepared if I want. Anyone who looks at people through that lens, everyone has their journey. I know that already, but I don't find shallowness attractive. I don't find ignorance attractive. I don't find people who pretend to be badass attractive. I find emotional, immature, non-securely attached human beings all over the place very uninteresting. They're, again, not Lucifer, because Lucifer, when I was talked about him, seemed like this monster who could manipulate the shit out of anyone or whatever. And lo and behold, nope, no frequency anyone's. And I have met them in my lovely astral travel. There's no match. There's no match, because I'm not living ungrounded from reality. I'm not a pseudo-live Maria. I'm a alive Maria. And in my body and in my integrated brain, what I can tell you is those who have overwhelmed their own senses and don't go and get the support, well, there you go. I know plenty of them, and they find stories for yourself. And then they have the 3D, 4D leaders. 7 to 14 on Michael Stone's scale. They're evil in his scale. They're charming. They're not charming to smart brains. You will spot a pseudo-intellectual. Now that I know that word, man, I'm going to have fun spotting more of them, because I already had spotted them, but I was not really aware of just how awesome it is when somebody explains it to you. So again, chaos, yes, we all thrive in expansion, not in staying chaotic, because chaos and rigidity are not your well-being. Also, your brain is not something that you are enjoying. In fact, you're not enjoying your thoughts, and you're not enjoying your emotions. Your window is not of welcome to that which is affect. Okay, so while for me, my window of welcome is humongous, because there's a 3-year-old right here. It ain't my world. So death do part, sickness and in health, better or worse. It's not about monoamory or polyamory. No, you got to meet a person who's committed to themselves, and they're committed, though, in a way that doesn't look to have testing and drama in their relationship, which instead, apparently, attachment coaches call secure attachment boring. So what I can tell you is that a lover will know what love is. It's easy. I don't perform. It's free. And you don't treat me like a piece of shit. So when I'm walking in and with my lovely little high heels. He looks at me, the guy I was talking about, and says, "Don't think with those heels we're gonna be together. You're still short." And in my head, that's what downloads, by the way, higher self. God, for those of you who believe God, mystic, I don't have to. I can even use just a science, because the reality is, to me, it's common sense. That what I'm telling you, self-respect, acceptance of, it's common sense. I didn't understand dramatic kings and queens, and to this day, I just see them now with more data. So being yourself. At IHP, we're only going to have people who are self-agents, because whenever you meet a self-agent, "I'm sorry, Miss Perfect, you got it all right. There's an exile for you." No, I don't got it all right. I got me right, though, for me, not for you. And apparently you got an issue with it. But that's okay. So you learn how to have fun with everyone who's an insecure human being, because, again, I was already a teenager. And when this guy did what he did, I wasn't even with my first serious relationship. And all I said was, "This isn't love, but I'm having a good time. Who cares?" And I went ahead and continued flirting. But that's not love. Love is going to be where I'm like the ugliest thing alive, and you're not going to make me think I'm a princess. No, that's bullshitting. That's lying. But you're going to genuinely and authentically and transparently, because that's the thing. You're not controlling it, by the way. This is not love. Love is not controlled. It's going to become, and actively, it's something that you have within you. It's the most beautiful thing ever, by the way. So it's not, what was that one sentence I read to you? There's a sentence that this person, a lot of people actually use it. And then we'll be back with some other stories. But as long as it takes, you are my person. Yeah, the person thing. You are your own person, and as for a person, they have to be a person who knows themselves, who knows what they want, and then they have to also want to love, not be in chaos or drama. So they have to actively feel good in that which is secure attachment, non-traumatized relationships. Otherwise, they might get bored. And boring will then not be something that is their stimuli. So only a fool believes that success achieved alone is real, John Amici. And it's funny because then we have this other Anne Laurel fix your destructive mindset in 15 minutes. I don't have a destructive mindset personally. I have a inner growth mindset, a creator mindset, a loving mindset, all of that. And the IHP episode from last night, I shared with you all, we can thank my immediate village herd, but then we can thank my body. And when you have people who understand how life is done for real, they do know that our village matters. But at the end of the day, what matters is your thoughts, as your body's sensations, images, behaviors, affects, and meanings come up, and then your self-awareness, accountability, and the knowingness of emotionally not being an immature human being who thinks that I need to feel life like you do, talk about life like you do, walk like you, talk like you. Therefore, being differentiated with your emotional, mental, and physical mastery is where you don't go and spite someone or do something in certain ways, okay? So teenage boyfriend, he cheats on me the first time. I say, I told you I'm not jealous. This thing that's part of your culture, it's an insecure reaction, it's insecurity. I'm not doing it, and that's where I love you. If this is not enough, well, you're gonna have to figure that out. This is the part of where, when people have authentic, transparent people who care and they want to build with you, they will fill you up and you fill them up. When someone's holding back, that is already a sign that that's not really their comfort zone. Okay, so people hold themselves back when they're not comfortable sharing all that they are, and that's not a relationship. Lovers are people who know life is not a performance, nor is a relationship, or that's what I'm trying to help you understand when you get a 5D mystic or a person who's self-led. And that's why, mystic or not, you're gonna know secure attachment, non-traumatized ain't boring. What's boring is finding people who don't know how to commit, who don't know how to use their mindset, and then want a buffoonery out of their mouths and consistently ignore their low frequency. Because you're going to notice if your heart is full and if it's not. And so once again, you will want to ensure, when you're a true lover, that you lift each other up higher, not any. You don't bring in chaos. If you bring in chaos, you feel bad about that. You feel sad about that, because like anybody else, what it is to build a secure attachment figure relationship, So once again, every person has insecurities. The difference is emotionally mature people take that sensitivity, take that insecurity, and without tear real, they have honest, genuine, authentic, transparent, again, conversations. The other nice thing about people when they are having a really great tango, and that's why, again, there's no effort. There's no effort in relationships that are meant to be, because there will be two people who live a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. Not protection, connection. So they're not blocking themselves for fear of getting hurt. A relationship is always a risk, because I'm going to invest in you, you're going to invest in me. But it is a risk that is welcome, as our lovely Sadhguru quote goes. Where is it? Hold on. I've read this one to you. If you truly care about what you're creating, then you get two opportunities. It's even better than one. And when it comes to love, the sob story of teenager is, I did it all by myself, and oh my God, I'm always meeting the same. So, we all have, again, those fears of inconsistencies, because we're made of brain. And the left mode makes up a bunch of stories when affect comes up. But, at the end of the day, the amygdala is going to be alerted, and so is the hearts, and people decide. That's why it's not that there's only one human being. Of course, we all know there are, for the mystics, there's definitely something special with our oversoul. But as long as it takes, you are my person is a sentence that, like I said, in the ones where we've expanded it, it's not really true, because a person is only one, for me, a person, if they have a whole self, not a distorted self. A person is a person who knows how to be emotionally mature, not immature. A person, to me, is not half safe, even though, again, I'm used to Cusco's all day long. I'm going to say a person is when they have the capacity to tell me thoughts, feelings, and have a good time, which is why secure attachment is not boring. What's boring is seeing people think that drama, chaos, and this, but 3D, 4D frequency, that's what they are used to. So we will conclude with those who are in every situation. It is an opportunity, thank you, Sadhguru, to either harvest well-being or suffering, and that is the choice. And as the smart therapists have made me aware of, they are treating an addiction to drama as a trauma response. So we have, this is beautiful course, NICABM, Scott Lyons, PhD, learn how trauma can fuel an addiction to drama and how to start shifting that dynamic. So for some people, chaos feels like home, not because they want it, but because their nervous system expects it. A person who is self-aware, accountable, regulating, and wants to tell me they want love, well then, if you notice that you're hooked to something that is not love, you're going to go and make sure you're not. Again, this isn't an obligation. There's two groups. I don't like to separate it, but you got 5D frequency and 3D, 4D frequency. And your ears will go where you want to go, which is why I don't force any of my conversations. I authentically, transparently just chit chat, because I'm here building a community of people who want to be their true self. And then if they want additional support to do more, there you have me. People who know what they want, they will know how to hear. No, I'm not concerned with those who distort information. Those who distort things are suspicious minds, or they're just chiming in and they're doing it for different reasons. And when they're triggered and shit comes up, they don't take a look at it and say, but those feelings are mine. I don't have to be emotionally reactive, emotionally immature, or get in a energy that is, let me think of the word. I don't know the word, because at the end of the day, it's really somebody who would be able to notice, why am I crapping on somebody else's stuff? And I'll use me. So there was this one moment as I'm headed into networking with a bunch of different marketers, entrepreneurs online. I'm having a great time. And there is a group, though, that did not, and this was the second incident, by the way. When you're an empowered feminine, you notice your dharma wheel, because you keep on processing karma and you move more and more into your wholeness. So this was a second round. The first was that I can remember right now. I'm sure there was probably one as a teenager, but I just didn't notice it. I'm thinking maybe. But long story short, I'm noticing Maria's thoughts on an entire situation, and here's where the higher self, download, channel, depending what you want to look at, says, okay, what are you doing here? This is not, why are you using your time this way and your thoughts this way? This is not you. It is not part of what you are embodying as a person, what you want to embody, stuff like that. And really, would you even be 100% in sync with this, the entirety of how they are behaving, the group? No. Okay, then. So really, this is not necessary. Okay, so when you get petty, I'll use that word, you learn to say, why are you getting petty? And it's not, I'm going to yell at myself or no. Have a conversation, explore it. Oh, I'm getting petty for no other reason except for this is how it's been explored, as you will have felt excluded, but you're not excluded, really. There's not a synergy. And while some people think that that's a way to make a justification, this is not what that is. When you're processing the emotion that's coming up with love for yourself and others, that's why self-respect, respect for others, acceptance, accountability, and not emotional immaturity, which is they didn't take my side, they didn't pick me, they didn't. Okay, so my point is, you can catch that. Those who don't want this, they say, but you're human, you can't stop venting, you're not Jesus or Buddha. I didn't think of Jesus or Buddha. Buddha, I love you, man, but you sat under a tree. Jesus, I look up to always. I promised him that I would follow in his footsteps with the forgiving, not the judging, and not the casting stones, and to remember that all my brothers and sisters, to believe in them and stuff like that, you know? So I'm totally cool with Jesus, God, and Holy Spirit. Buddha, I love you, man. Again, I don't do the truth, this life, this very existence is suffering. No, because Jesus suffered for my sins, and I use my prefrontal. I don't suffer because I don't have drama queen or king capacity. Emotions last 90 seconds, and Maria has common sense. And if somebody doesn't like me because I'm too short and ugly, well, there you go. I mean, I cried at 4 because I got rejected. As I got older, I can still cry. Big girls, they do cry. Yes, actually they do, but it's not dramatic, and it's not because we're getting tested by anyone. No, yeah. Actually, again, I will say thank you, God and Spirit and Source, for keeping me as safely and as far, 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 far away possible from anyone who I love to death and who does not match my love frequency, because I don't want to be the integrated brain, higher self person who's a self agent, who's empowered, enlightening, and with no attachment wound whatsoever be in the presence of another, because I know what happens. Thank you to Bethany Brand and Ruth Lanius and all the other ones who taught me, when you look in the eyes of a person who still has attachment wounds, the shit comes up, and it doesn't mean anything to me because I'm in my ventral vagal state. The anchored in ventral energy person is healthy inside their body, and their mind is doing shit, and I don't ask because, again, I'm not really going to participate in Cusco's behavior. If Cusco wants to project an attitude, I'm going to know how to handle Cusco. You got 5 hands, Cusco. By the time you're done, I don't walk on eggshells. I'll just know what your sensitive ego's about and where you stand. And then as I keep moving forward, and this is just in general, because again, I don't have any of this shit with lovers. No, with lovers, it's again, very straightforward. The minute that you have pushed your way to a specific place, I will make sure to say, yeah, I can't do any of this. I'm here to be myself, and I don't change. So I thought I made it clear. Apparently men say I don't use my words effectively, so I'm going to understand that I guess I was not clear with my words, but I do thank you. And when people think that I tease people, are you making fun of them? No, I'm thanking them because that's exactly how I respect God. And the energy is of the child who learned about how to respect others. So my energy might be that of a little quote unquote bitch. No, it's not. You just don't like that I have confidence and that I can say I respect, accept, and love you, because that still irritates the very attachment wound of those who have shame, defectiveness within their self, not me. So in their heart, they are feeling inadequate. Clear, pure consciousness doesn't feel inadequate because, like Terrio points out, a grown-up knows self-acceptance. So I give you many different examples how to explain. It's here that you feel it. Here comes after, and here match when you know that you're going to process the charge when you got an asshole in a room because they're in a low frequency. And so are you, as we're mammals matching each other, but I get to differentiate Maria because I know myself and I know what I want to be and where I want to be, and I don't have to be in a low frequency because I'm not an insecure person who has the need to compare myself to you. I'm obviously flawed, defective to you, which is okay to me because I accept myself and I say thank you. And I leave and I don't say, Maria, change yourself right now, or they need to change. Inner, outer critic. Nope. Inner growth mindset. You expand. Mindfulness practices, mindset skills. We are lovers and we do not do drama and we do not bring fear and uncertainty into a relationship. We will acknowledge death do part, sickness and health, and better for worse is a choice that two people make with deciding it, and that there's a consistent flow. There's not needs for ups and downs. There's a consistent interest to ensure the flow and the growth. And that if it does go through a transformative process, because you're a 01-year-old of yourself, securely attached and untraumatized people, self-led, okay, mystic, spiritual, or mindful living, loving, or all in the above, enlightenment in the empowering of you. I'm using words because if you are here, you consistently enlighten. You don't have decentralizing of the self that goes erroneously, okay? So you are honest with yourself from the mental to the emotional to the physical perspective. You won't be, I'm 45, so again, obviously every year of your life, from the 4-year-old of me, this is why the science people say we change. I'm going to say no, we build resiliency, because when you're self-led, you don't lose yourself. When you use your ventral vagal state and or you know how to harness your nervous system, you don't lose anything. You consistently embody the embodied brain that you are, and you are human, which is why it's not supernatural to be in the flow state. But you better bet there's a bunch of people who think they're in it and they're not. And I know the difference because they're very small frequency and they make up a bunch of stories for themselves. And I'm explaining how amazing instead it is to know that love is inclusion. It is to see you, to hear you, and to share with you time and to share with you moments. And at the end of the day, let me read to you this lovely, again, sentence that came from one of a beautiful bunch of activities with people who I love to do these things with. A heart that lives in recognizing itself in one another. We suffer not in life or love and relationships. So I will see my heart in you and you will see your heart in me. But if you have any of that stuff come up, that's the difference. I don't. For me, like Sadhguru says, it is the ability to bring out the best in others that makes anyone a leader. But we have lovers and then we have fearful leaders. And those fearful leaders are there for the people who suffer the love stories that have no drama. And they suffer seeing people like me and they think you can't have one emotion, and I don't say anything because I'm not going to educate a person who just made me aware that they don't want to be their self, they don't want to navigate ventral vagal state health, they don't want to achieve a sense of security within their own ease. They'd rather use their dramatic little butthole, and again, I don't have to school them on that. They will actively tell me that I'm pretending and that I don't know what life is, because life has to be suffering, and I will not be doing any of that nonsense. I will reiterate, every situation is an opportunity. Either you harvest well-being or suffering. It is your choice. And as Dr. Daniel Siegel points out, integration of the brain is well-being. Those who don't want to believe it, again, they don't have to. Nobody's going to make them believe. But there's another one of lovely Sadhguru quotes from yesterday that we'll also look at, and that way we can close it out, because with a 01-year-old who's securely attached, you can be in any situation relationship-wise and be okay, and you can continue. That's why you transform those relationships that don't move into the one to secure connections, because you don't have to. It's not weird. Love is consistently present if you have consciously chosen to interact in a way of creating a relationship. Then it doesn't work, the romantic kind. Okay, so grown-ups, you don't have to be grown-up. It's called emotionally mature, mentally mature, physically mature people who are able to understand that life is choosing because things make you happy, people included. And again, the people who commit to each other, it's because they choose it. The more security you seek, the more disturbed you will be about every change that happens in your life. And that's where the 01-year-old will seek security. If you are your own secure attachment figure, that's why the romantic partner, the one, is going to be bringing love forth from you, not the opposite, but you will also be able to notice that you are consistently intrigued, excited, happy with each other, stuff like that. Not hard, not boring. It is the most amazing to have lovers who are true lovers, so mental, emotional, and physical, self-agents who love and pursue the ventral vagal state, health. They do love to process the sensations, images, behaviors, affects, and meanings, and their thoughts, and they do love to do the neutrality and duality, motivating themselves with different ways. Experimental mindset, again, is really great. So you have curiosity and ambition, and you have the consistency to stay focused also. And that other video that I watched that I mentioned to you all, let me go grab the words that he used, but he supported people with the model, the FEE. So focus, here it is, paying the fee, focus, effort, execution model. So we got a bunch of beautiful videos. The channel that you might want to follow if you don't, I think it's called The Well or Big Think, one of the two. So we'll be back with more again. Thanks for stopping by.